They won the Immortal Health War, but they never won the Immortal Fight per se, right? Like they always lost a fight, but still got the Immortal, which meant they couldn't capitalize on the Immortal. And so in terms of winning the Immortal race, I guess, yes. But in terms of winning like the fight, Tempest just had the number every time. Tempest picked Tyrael early, and I think some of the stronger teams in this tournament will be able to handle that very well. But I just don't think that Good Game did. And they banned Tychus. They took 2 damage dealers away from GG. They went into the gazebo. It was good in theory. You could absolutely make the arguments for what they were trying to do there. But at the end of the day, it didn't work out. Our maps, which I did get an update on here, are coming up, and it is actually going to be a Good Game taking first pick. No surprise there. And our map, take a look at it here. It is going to be Sky Temple, taken for Tempest.
And makes sense. They want to go macro, and they will probably keep that Tyrael alive. Maybe Modern Life can go back to Ragnaros and keep that. But we'll see a different style of ban, of course. This is a 3-lane map now. Definitely. And Tempest, they can still keep that control, as GG looked like they want to go a little bit more. They were on the objective. They were going to be but that was the only thing they were thinking. They need to be thinking of some more things at the same time, which Tempest, they already have a color. It even took MVP Black a season to have that solve that problem. They already have the answer. That we saw that problem solved yesterday, but GG is going to take some time.
I think so. I think they're a team that, again, has so much experience, as you were saying before, but they need to tighten up their play. Now, that last draft, I think, really was in favor of Tempest as well. You know, we don't want to call a game over from a draft, and I don't want to try to downplay a a gazebo pick that absolutely could work, but it didn't work in this case. So.
Yeah, it was surprising, so it might have actually surprised some of the Tempest players also. It can throw off the other team.
I just mean you got to put like an asterisk on this first win, because it was a weird game that Tempest also didn't play perfectly in. We had some strange traits. GG kind of used that gazebo a little bit in the early game to get some value, but after that didn't work. When we clear the slate, perhaps we see a more normal draft here. That's where I want to judge Good Game a little bit more harshly than what we saw in that first game.
I also want to point out on Lockdown's false that he was really great, but some of his flights were in the danger zone. He was really close to being in the danger zone. Some of the zones, he landed on a place where he should gust, and that was at level 9. And I felt like maybe he was trying to use gust. I'm pretty sure he's not, but he's just used to those kind of positioning, flying over towards the side or the back. Could have been super dangerous if Falstad just pops out before anything happens. Tempest would have lost the game, but that did not happen. Just to keep that in mind, that he is very aggressive. He is one of the best ranged assassins in Korea, for
Absolutely. Sure. It was dubbed best Falstad in the world for a brief time in summer. Falstad taken here, speaking of which, for Good Game. No surprise there. I think anything else would have been incorrect on Sky Temple as we go into the second map.
There's nothing incorrect. We see first pick Gaslow. I saw it tonight. No, yesterday night.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, it was one of the worst things.
Hey, I wish we saw it in this tournament. It'd be certainly make things, the draft, a little bit more interesting. But Tempest now, they have options. We've seen any manner of lock-ins with. We've seen against Zeratul, for example. We've seen Varian come out here. We see Vala, Ariel. Sometimes we saw it a lot more at the end of winter. That was something that was being picked in this kind of ban phase here, that pairing, because Tastar is taken away. I think Malf is really the go-to. Who he's paired with here, we'll never know. It's going to be ETC and Li Ming actually taken this time early on. We saw a Good Game actually first pick that on our previous map, so Tempest making an adjustment here to the draft, removing that away from BDG.
Yeah, BDG was pretty good on those skill shots, except for that one onto the Immortal at the very end. I know even when anyone is rushed like that, you have to make some kind of mistakes, but still, it was a threat to Tempest, and that's why they chose. Also, Lockdown, it's a great leaving. We saw some crazy reset parties, and GG already instantly picked up Tychus and Malfurion.
So, Zeratul ban here, not anything crazy from Tempest. It seems that in this draft, it's pretty unique. Well, more than any other draft we've seen in our very, limited amount of time we have in HGC Korea, but we've now gone through 4 best-of-5s. This draft and the draft in the previous set has been so focused on ranged damage. The priority of having Falstad, Tychus, Li Ming already in these first few pick phases, it's actually quite crazy. Vala is still technically available. It's something that Tempest is absolutely looking at here. They can pair it with Ariel. I think banning Vala is better than banning Ariel here, but I think either essentially works. To ban Dahaka, so they're going to try to. I was talking about that everyone's focused on range damage here, and then they completely swing it around and bring the focus back to the global, going back to that first pick Falstad.
Yeah, it's either global or ranged. Like before, the meta was on all, like not all of it, but close to being most of it melee, like Thrall, Ragnaros, and just getting close to it, and Tyrael popping that Sang when they go in with Greymane. It was all about those kind of meta. Now it is all about the ranged and the global macro of the game, especially in Korea. I know European and NA, they are having a little bit of a different meta, but it seems like this is like a set rule for Korean for now.
In Korea, you try to win team fights by small advantages in talent and levels, and team fighting is what a lot of other regions try to focus on more, but the macro here is definitely what's being focused on, especially on the side of GG. Tempest has to take the other route here, though, because globals are taken away from them. Dahaka is banned. Falstad is taken away. They have ETC. They're going to bring out Kharazim and Tyrael, and this means we will likely see Greymane. The Greymane that was banned in the previous set, but this time allowed through, and there's no way GG can remove it now. So I think we either see Greymane or Thrall as the final pick here for Tempest. And it's going to be exciting to see Tempest with the Thrall in this modern day, because when Dami was on Tempest, he just simply could not play the hero well, and it was something they avoided like the plague.
But Greymane was the meta back then, and still Greymane got, I believe in this patch, he just got 10 armor in the wolf form, I believe.
Oh, so no, actually I think that's not on this current patch, that's on the next one. Because yesterday we saw Greymane and he didn't have the armor icon. So just,
okay.
I'm pretty sure on that one. We're on PTR, guys, so it's
just to make sure.
There could be some confusions. But anyway, Ragnaros gets picked up here. He made it really deep into the draft, but he's going to actually give a lot of big explosive damage and stun power here. He's just a great powerful hero in general, especially with his ability to protect forts.
GG is pretty tanky in that front line. Also, Tychus is one of the more tankier DPS, so to say, in Malfurion, of course, keeps that sustain. But Tempest, I wonder what will happen if GG bans out that Tyrael. That's gonna throw off their team comp a lot. I'm sure Modern Life can also play Ragnaros or something else. But still, most of their team comp revolves around Tyrael, and here's a Sylvanas that we have not seen even once.
So the first Sylvanas of the tournament. Really expected the Greymane. It looked so much like it was going to be a Greymane pick here. GG already has the counter, essentially, to Sylvanas on Sky Temple with Falstad here. I find the Sylvanas pick to be a little bit strange. We're leaning towards this super powerful melee, but it looks like it's just going to be the all-around Sanctification Tyrael. Let's go into game number 2, Sky Temple, to see if that Sylvanas pick is going to work out here against GG. In blue, spring champions. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not enemy black. What am I saying? Summer champions. Tempest hide on Kharazim, Duck on Sylv, Lockdown on Li Ming, Sign on ETC, and Modern Life on the Tyrael.
In red, GG, BDG on Tychus, Jaehyun on Malfurion, good on Ragnaros, Hooligan on Muradin, and Mujay on Falstad.
I love that pirate Falstad. It's not as good as Stormlord Falstad, but it's pretty alright. It's pretty good skin.
Still, was it Duck on? Yeah, it is usually Duck on Sylvanas, yes.
Yes, Duck is the Sylvanas player for Tempest, he always has been. And his Sylvanas does rival some of the old Chinese Sylvanas as we saw, like Yao Yao and Misaka. Of course, since one retired and one has changed roles entirely, but we see some really cool plays with Windrunner, especially at level 13. Sylvanas is, primarily considered to be just a pushing hero that disables, minions and structures, and she just does a lot of damage as well. But like the fact of the matter is, on Sky Temple, Sylvanas is usually prioritized for that siege power. She does a lot of damage. That's great and all. The counter to this is just having a Falstad or a Zeratul or a Tracer that comes and hunts down the Sylvanas. In this case, they have Falstad to just match the Sylvanas pushing, so when Sylvanas tries to get some split pressure, tries to get some split soak, a Falstad will just go down and join her. That's not really what's going on in this early game. The early game focus here for Tempest is to try to get this wall down, just like we saw Black do on this map in the previous best of 5. Get the wall down early, get the well. Good Game is responding a lot better in this case, though, and they only get a little bit of damage done to that wall.
I do remember Tempest using this kind of draft, especially in this battleground. And Sylvanas did come out several times. And Duck, if you to continue talking about Duck on Sylvanas, and Hyde will be caught there for a while, but he's actually going to be alive. Polygon not able to chase him at the end. And fighting over this temple, just a little bit more lockdown, pulling that solid damage from the side. No casualties.
Yeah. Sylvanas getting extra damage because Wujay decided to fly up, and he comes down now. You can see this wall is, almost completely dead at this point, and Duck is actually just going to continue to pressure here as we see a big fight. Modern Life very low, but BDG is going to be the one to fall. Will they pick Modern Life up here? It looks like no, they will not. The Temple Guardian knocks Jaehyun away, and they basically just essentially invade here. They get a kill, stop Good Game from getting very many shots off, while Sylvanas is out-soaking Falstad and bot. Wujay goes up and then goes down. He doesn't have flight. He goes up halfway, hesitates as coming down. Watch him on the minimap here. This matchup between Falstad and Sylvanas is so important on Sky Temple, and right now Duck is winning it really hard.
Good eye on that. Falstad could have been just sitting on top, getting some of that tempo at least while this fight is going on, or even join the fight to win the entire fight. When I know Sylvanas is a lot of pressure to, if you let that happen, like your bottom tempo, the second phase will be very tough, but still you have to make a decision. You can't just keep on going up and down, and skirmishes keep on going on in the middle temple. And one of the things I wanted to highlight before, Duck is really good on Sylvanas in terms of he can also be an offensive Sylvanas or defensive Sylvanas. There is a term for that, and a lot of the Korean casters really highlight on how Duck can play Sylvanas. It's one of the best. Yeah,
I'd say like in terms of Sylvanas, historically, especially when she was top meta in summer, top 3, like definitely Duck, Misaka, and Yao Yao. And Duck just, look, I mean, we've already seen him win this matchup against Wujay super hard, very aggressively. He's doing that offensive Sylvanas you were talking about. And what happened here is Good Game lost their bottom wall, and I believe the well is severely damaged as well. It's covered by Falstad right now, the position, so I can't actually tell you. No, it's gone. As you can see on the minimap, it's missing. So they lost their well, which means the next temple phase is going to be difficult. Tempest, if they get this full top temple, they will have gotten basically like 1.3 temples, because they got about a third of the mid temple. They got the full push. They out-soaked just slightly, and they won basically on all fronts. It was a slow, tough temple. But what GG needs to do now is actually the majority of what's left of this to kind of even things out while Falstad soaks.
Falstad is trying to get some damage down on Sylvanas on the bottom. Looks like he couldn't get a kill, but still keeping that pressure on the bottom lane. Falstad also needs to take down that well. It is his mission for the time the Sylvanas is gone. But looks like maybe he thinks that Sylvanas is not coming back down, so he decides to come up to help his team a little bit faster.
This is actually really well done by Wujay. They don't get the final shots, which is really frustrating, but Duck just hesitated. He started going up top. Looks like his team called for him. He decided to go down. He missed the entire wave anyways. It's something to see, follow this stuff on the minimap. I've been watching it pretty closely. And Falstad got an extra wave mid, so he actually finally started to out-soak Sylvanas in both those lanes. Sylvanas missing a whole wave there, and Tempest in general missing a mid-wave. Gives them that EXP lead that you see at the top bar there. So good move there by Wujay finally to actually stick around. They lost the final shots, which is nice for Tempest, but they evened up the EXP. The big advantage right now for Tempest is the missing well. That's not something that's always a game changer. It's not something that means that you lose the bot for sure, but it just makes it a lot harder. The Bruiser camp that's pushing right now is actually faster for Tempest. GG's is going to have theirs a little bit better timed for this bot temple.
But when that second phase will go on, that's about time when both teams will about to be hitting level 10 and getting that heroic, and when you have more health, of course, like by logic, you can win the team fight a lot easier. And Science coming, BDG a little bit out of position, but still manages to get out. Modern Life comes from the back and takes out BDG.
Very well placed there, locking him into that little crypt, it almost looks like, with a waterfall there. They have Siege Giants pushing this, but at the same time, Good Game actually gets the top push as well. So if they could take out that fort, pretty unlikely, but if they could take out the fort, they could kind of equalize this. It's going to be a pushed wave, though, for that temple that's about to spawn. I talked about this when we were casting MVP Black on this map earlier, about how it's very rare to see level 10 before the bottom phase. This is going to be one of those cases just simply because the first phase was so long. That's what we see here. But Tempest has full control of this. They are going to send ETC up, which means he's going to take stage dive to come back down to clear this. But it looks like he may have actually gotten this fort. Looks like he definitely did in the top lane. So they actually equalize that, at least in terms of structural pressure. And ETC will stage dive in to team fight this. This temple is going to be pretty important.
And after taking that watchtower, looks like Falstad will also come down to help his team, or actually pressure a little bit more onto ETC, having some fights up there, keeping that pressure just in case Tempest is ready. And he does fly over. Let's see what happens. He does have the gust. He does not come all the way down to be super aggressive like Knockdown does, but he is still in position. Okay,
there's a nice sank here. Here comes the stage dive in to try to pair with it. Already, Wu-Jay is dead. BDG to follow. Hooligan on the retreat here. Sulfuric Smash used, but to no avail as Modern Life tries to body block with Aldruins. Hooligan will go down. And this is a disaster as Jaehyun likely to follow. No Windrunner yet, so no double chase here for Duck Duck. By the way, I called too early the top fort going down. It lives with probably 0.5% of health in the top lane. You can see Wu-Jay wanted to stay for so long to make sure he could get that, but he just couldn't do it. Then he got picked early in the fight, so he gets neither.
I think ETC just went there just in time to save the fort. And basically, Tempest had not all three of the temple, but if I have to exaggerate a little bit, they basically got 3 temples, and GG, they tried it, they lost a team fight. What did they gain? They gained some silk because of Wu-Jay having that global, but ETC now also has that global presence, so Tempest just have an upper lead after they have a full level lead.
Wu-Jay got some extra soak, he almost got the fort. If he had gotten the fort, you know, I'd be like, okay, we're still in like a pretty okay situation here in terms of EXP. They lost all the temple shots. They're now down 2 structures technically. I really would just want to say 1 because that top one is actually just going to be extra bonus EXP for them later with the catch-up mechanic. But this is a bad situation for a Good Game, to put it simply. And the matchup between Falstad and Sylvanas is what happened a lot in summer, a little bit in the winter season, going into BlizzCon, of course, and China. It was pretty rare. It was really a summer thing that we saw a lot. Falstad is supposed to deal with split push Sylvanas when they go alone, but he failed in the bottom lane. Now this push 4-man is not dealt with. Sylvanas is already disabling the structures. They're working on the keep wall here. 13 is reached, so it's tough for a Good Game to contest this, but Tempest is just out-rotating them here, and usually Falstad can deal with this kind of thing very handily, but in this game, not so much.
This has to be dealt with. Hooligan was soaking up some damage in the middle lane, but basically he lost a lot of time going around. Tempest has been doing this rotation so smart, like they've had this in their hearts. I'm pretty sure they did this so many times, especially on this map with Sylvanas. Duck Duck played so many Sylvanas on this map, as we know. Look, they're just going around and pushing them, pressuring them, and GG is so late that they can't even come back. And especially when Tempest, they have the upper lead in the talent, that's when they go full lane, because GG, really, if they want to contest, they can contest, but still, who's going to win if you're lower, if you don't have the talent, then you're not going to have that much chance of winning the fight.
It's definitely a lot tougher, absolutely. Look, I mean, Tempest is showing us that older styles of play that we saw 7 months ago are still viable with these Tyrael priorities. The Sylvanas coming in. Really thought we were going to see Greymane, but we don't here. And perhaps that's because they don't have Dami, and they just want to go for Sylvanas instead. We've seen them Greymane-less when Greymane was banned in summer as well. Run Sylvanas instead here. Sometimes even running both. Modern Life here going to come aggressively onto this watchtower. They just want to buy as much time as they can on that top temple so that ETC can just come in. They win the fight, then they can maximize value. they were going down that path, but it looks like they may retreat here. No, they're going to collapse onto Hooligan. He steps way too far over bounds here. Here's the stage dive in. Big silence down onto Hooligan as well. Looks like he will just barely escape. He's actually going to avatar and go back in here with Odin. But he's so low.
Odin comes back. Hooligan is low, but barely, and the Falstad is the first one to go down. Great sync to keep them a lot back. Now silence is on Tempest's side. Tempest really trying to turn this around as Jaehyun is so low with BDG, but looks like this fight is going everywhere. Tempest and great palm to stay one alive.
Yep, that is going to be a wipe though. I think Good Game had as good of a fight as they could have considering the circumstances. Hooligan's the last to die, but he was the first to ruin this for Good Game. He stepped way too far over the boundary lines there, took a lot of damage. When he decided to avatar and go back in, that's when things went absolutely horribly wrong for Good Game. Now it's 16. They are going to just hearth home, but they should get double temples here. Looks like Modern Life's going to have to go home first. And with the short respawns here for Good Game, they might not get the full bottom temple. They're splitting right now. Let's see actually where Good Game goes from here, because they have to clear this bot. They're going to send Falstad top, so Wujay is going to take that. And it looks like, yeah, it's only going to be one of the temples remaining that goes to Tempest.
And Tempest, they have the upper hand, they have the talent. They don't have to actually step on that temple until later. They can force the pressure a lot more, right? Exactly what they're doing right now. They're Hooligan. They spot Hooligan and they need to be careful. They know it. So Tyrael and even ETC comes along. Stage dive is used on BDG. BDG gets stuck a little bit, but cleansed instantly. What a nice job by Jaehyun there. But Good is in trouble, very low. Hai trying to pick on kill, but he does not get the kill.
Yep. Sign coming in here from behind. And this is now a full Tempest team pushing, sieging this keep with 4 Siege Giant caps. Look at that, even dodging the Molten Core swing there. No one gets stunned. They're going to be dismounted on their retreat, but they force a big, long cooldown to be used here for GG. GG keeps the keep alive, though, which is most critical, and they have 16. They're going to fight on even talent tiers, but Wujay is caught again, and this time it looks like he's going to go down. Hyde with the chase does not have Radiant Dash to finish Wujay off. Duck very, very low, but Hooligan doesn't have enough damage to finish him off. Hyde comes in with a heal. There's a level 16 vulnerability talent for Duck and Hooligan now on the retreat.
Hyde still has that palm available, so all the teams they were being safe. They trust Hyde from even if they're so close to dying. Hyde will just, this well was still there when GG's well went down in like first 2 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, this well is still alive, which it's usually important for the first bottom temple. This isn't even a solo bot temple, it's the later remaining temple, which we haven't really been talking about much, but it's still there. They're still going to get it here, at least a lot of it. Not going to get the last shots, however.
That actually looked like a good chance of Hooligan coming on around from the side if they actually had a grab onto that lockdown, and that ETC is caught a little bit, but Hooligan basically can't really do anything coming around from the side.
There's some anti-synergy with some of the Tempest abilities here. Beautiful palm, though. The silence, totally worthless, but it doesn't matter here in the end. Wujay gets caught and trapped. Really nice stage dive here by Sign. Hooligan's finally going to go down this time as he tries to retreat. Resets galore here for lockdown. Gives him the kills. 4 dead here now on the side of Good Game. And they're just going to push this. They have Sylvanas that will get this keep easily. And with these long respawn timers, they will get more than that. They may attempt to finish here. BDG is trying to slow this down. They find him and kill him. This is going to desync the spawns. And that's a big problem here for Good Game.
I think they're going to go for core. They have to with Sylvanas, and they have close to full health on everyone, and Sign, especially with the ETC trade, they can attack so much faster. Modern Life really stepped it up this game. Even from game number 1, I think he's playing a lot better with that Tyrael, and this fits the team a lot better.
Wujay didn't have Gust when he spawned. Sank will seal the deal here, although it's the Gust is used right after the Sank. It still won't matter. Too much damage already done to the core, and Tempest will take their second win here. Man of the hour is Duck. He way outplayed Wujay. Wujay, a player who I think overshadowed him back in 2015 and in spring season. Duck ever since summer has just seemed to be the better specialist player, and the range flex was strong with this one. in that bot lane. HGC with some hesitation on whether he was going to soak and stop the Sylvanas push, causing him to lose that early well that you described. Super early in the game, and Tempest just the better team in this best of 5 so far. No matter what Good Game tries, they're really struggling, and I'm not entirely sure what the answer is here at this point for GG.
For GG, they have to find the answer, which MVP Black did. When they have that false that global presence, I know Sylvanas is a lot of pressure to a single lane, but having that global pressure is a lot. I think it gives a lot more importance when it comes to the beginning of the game. HGC was indecisive in his movements going up and down. He had to actually fight the Sylvanas or soak in another lane and then join the fight to take that early lead on before Tempest hit level 10 and get those heroics. After getting those heroics, Tempest was just on the roll, popping out that Sank at the right time, just stage diving right in the sign, and that was basically it. It's 2-0 right now, but maybe GG will have the answer after when we come back from the commercial break.
That's right. The guitars don't always mean that we're going to have a straight transition. Sometimes we have to stare at the camera. Sometimes we have a few weird moments. So I'm just going to keep talking to you guys for just a little bit longer. But again, as before, if you're up late, maybe you forgot to brush your teeth, go brush your teeth, go get a soda. And get ready, because we're going to come back to the rest of this best of 5 after a short commercial break.